For the first time since the Israeli-Hamas war began, humanitarian aid is now trickling into the Gaza Strip. Earlier today, the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza was briefly opened. The Israeli siege for the past 15 days has taken a toll there. Laverne McGee spoke with a local Hamilton man from Palestine who says much more aid is needed.
I have not been able to sleep. My body shakes from the inside all the time. I get a lot of panic attacks.
Hamdi Ashur moved to Hamilton from Gaza in 1998. As the war rages on, he's extremely afraid for his two sisters and their families who still live there. He says they're in constant danger of being bombed and have very little food and supplies to live on. Earlier today, the Rafah crossing from Egypt was briefly opened. 20 Red Crescent Egyptian humanitarian trucks were allowed into Gaza for the first time in about 2 weeks. But Ashur says it's not enough.
Allowing 20 trucks after all this time that being bombed is going to do nothing. It's going to be able to help very little people.
Before this war, approximately 450 trucks a day entered Gaza, but for the past 2 weeks there were none allowed in. It's estimated over 1 million people need aid.
10 million Canadian dollars in funding for humanitarian assistance has been allocated. Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs has been in Egypt, taking part in the Cairo Peace Summit.
Canada is clear. We support Israel's right to self-defense in accordance with international law. And we continue to demand that Hamas releases all hostages and that hostages be treated humanly as international law indicates. 400 Canadians in Gaza must be also able to come back home.
For Canadians in that area, Canada is also providing assisted departure flights from Tel Aviv to Athens with the support of Canadian Armed Forces aircraft. Today marks 2 weeks since Hamas attacked Israel, killing 1,400 people and taking 200 hostages. More than 4,000 people have now been killed in Gaza.
It's hard to comprehend in a normal world that you actually have to risk your life to buy a piece of bread.
International leaders are warning that much more aid is needed to combat the catastrophic humanitarian situation that's unfolding. There are hopes that United Nations trucks will be allowed in as soon as Monday.